Aloha, I'm Felicia Miller Johnson, and I conduct work life video interviews with career professionals that become an all intuitive conversation. Aloha, welcome to another episode of All Intuitive Conversation. Today, I get to have a conversation with Chrissy Mellinger. So let's bring her to the screen. Aloha, Chrissy.
Hello, hello. How are you?
I am doing well. I'm looking forward to having this conversation with you today. How are you?
I'm doing really well. I'm pumped for this.
Awesome. So, for those that may be new to the show, I have not spoken with Chrissy before. And so basically, I'm getting to know her right here, right now. In the midst of that, I'll also be kind of tapping with her energy and shuffling cards and just getting to know her all the way around. So, Chrissy, where are you calling in from?
I am calling in from Warwick, Rhode Island. It's right outside of Providence.
Oh, okay. So you're on the East Coast. All right.
Mhm.
So is that your hometown?
It is not. No, I'm from a suburb of Philadelphia in Pennsylvania and lived in South Carolina for a year, lived in Tennessee for a couple of years, and made our way back up north.
Oh, okay. So you said we. Who's we?
Um, my family, my husband, and my two dogs.
Oh, awesome. Okay, what kind of dogs do you have?
I'm really hoping they stay quiet for this one, but they're German Shepherd Lab mixes. They just turned 8, and my husband is well aware of this fact, but they're the true loves of my life. I love them.
Okay, so did you have them before you met your husband
No,
or
my husband and I have been together for 14 years, so like we firmly waited and got married and went through school and then decided to adopt. But I've always wanted dogs, and these were the first two that I've been able to have. So they like very quickly just kind of topped him. He's like second place. They're tied for first place.
Yes, okay. So I totally can understand the love for dogs. We used to have some. We had one for 19, another one was
Oh
17,
my goodness.
Fetish and Emeretta. They were Chihuahuas.
Ooh, okay.
So yeah, they definitely bring a whole different aspect like to your life with that. So you said you just were not able to have dogs. So tell me about your childhood.
Oh my goodness. I wanted dogs my whole life.
Yeah.
I lived with my grandparents. They raised us, my sister and I. And
Mhm.
we were told that my grandfather was allergic to dogs. And like, just kind of, okay, Pop's allergic. We can't have dogs. That's fine.
Mhm.
And then started to piece it together when I was in my teens that like he had dogs growing up. He had dogs with his first marriage and like as his kids were growing up.
Mhm.
He just didn't want to have dogs anymore.
Okay.
So we had parakeets, we had hermit crabs, hamsters, bunny rabbits, like as many of the non-amphibian caged pets that you could have, we had them all. But when
Yes.
it came to like cats and dogs, he's like, nah, I don't want to have to do that.
Said I had enough of that, huh? They have to actually
Yes.
go out and be
Mhm.
okay. So tracking that. And
Yep.
so then you had that, no pets kind of growing up, and it was you and your sister and your grandparents. What was it like being raised by your grandparents?
It was good. It was definitely different. Just, like they were in their 50s and 60s when all the other parental units were like 30s.
Yeah.
So there were definitely some differences where there are songs or there are like sayings that I'll just whip out,
Mhm.
and no one knows what I'm talking about. Like this song, my grandfather has passed. He's been gone about 3 years, but he used to sing the song Jeepers Creepers. That's like
Hmm.
Jeepers Creepers, where'd you get
Da, da,
those
da, da, da,
things?
so da
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
But, like, nobody knows what this is from, so I just, like, be talking about Jeepers Creepers in high school, and they thought I was talking about the Scary Movie, and I'm like, "No, very, very different," but it was good. It was definitely an odd thing, at least in, like, my community. Most of the families were kinda your nuclear families,
Yeah,
but it was good. Like,
yeah,
they're very sweet, yeah.
yeah. So you said he's, transitioned on your grandfather. Is your grandmother also transitioned, or she's still
Nope, she is still firmly here, and, like, she keeps telling us she'll be 78 in August, and she keeps telling my sister and I, she's like, "I'm not leaving. I'm
Mhm.
just you're stuck with me for, like, another 30, 40 years," and I'm like, "Okay, whatever." Pop
Oh,
comes and visits me, so it's not like you dying actually means that you're gone, so whatever.
mm. So, say that again? He comes to visit you?
Mhm, yeah.
Tell me more about that.
Um, yeah, no, it's just let's see, he passed in June of 19,
Mhm,
and there was a lot of, like I didn't realize how much he had done for myself and my sister until he had passed, and I started to, like, dig into some of the emotions and the feelings and everything that had happened,
mhm.
um, and it was his first birthday following, so the following March, and I kept hearing his voice, and I kept thinking of things that, like, he taught us how to play poker. Like, he's the only person I've ever played
He's here, girl.
That's my
He's
pop.
here. Your grandfather is here, girl. Yes, because I was like, "Tell me more."
Yep,
Uh-huh.
yep, yep. So, like, just I had these different memories come up that were strictly pop. Like, there no one else in my world had those memories. And I had a medium reading, which was the first medium reading I'd ever had, and it was like 2 hours of this woman channeled him in so clear, and, like, he and I are talking, and he's telling me all these different things, and since then, I feel like I've had more of a connection with him now that he's,
Mm,
like, technically not physically here,
mhm.
um, but yeah, no, he'll visit, and, like, different things will come into my head or different smells will come up, and I'll be like, "I really gotta make some nut roll today." "Oh, darn it, Pop, like, I don't really have time for nut roll today, but I guess I'm doing it."
Yes. Well, like I said, I had already shuffled them with these 2 cards, and it was just like, "Okay, poker, like, hmm." So, yeah, he's,
Yeah.
um, um, here, with that. So, I love that you shared that you have that experience with him because, yeah, even though we have our family or individuals that transition on, they can still come back and connect and talk with us and, share words of wisdom, with us, and that's, like, one of the things we say talk about, talking to the ancestors, like, they're absolutely there. So the next question that came up that was asked is that, what would you consider to be, because here it says unwise choice, what would be some words of wisdom that really stuck out with you that he has shared with you, that just stayed with you?
Is this a PG show, or can I say it in a way that
Say
he
yes.
okay. A lot he was a firm believer in doing things your own way and not really giving a shit, so he would
Mhm.
tell my sister and I a lot growing up, "Fuck 'em,
Mm,
fuck 'em, do it your way." Um, and whether that's gonna make you friends or that's gonna make you he would say enemies, you have to
mhm.
do what you wanna do, you have to do what you're being called to, and damn the consequences, honestly, like, figure it out as you go along and just keep going your own way.
Yes. Okay. Love that.
Yeah.
So the next I have here, this woman, and she has these, it's called the wheel, and she has a variety of
Ooh.
cards. So now I want to go and connect with your grandmother. What would she tell you words of wisdom are now that she's still here physically?
Is. I feel like hers have very much changed over the years. Um,
Like turning, like it just,
yeah, like,
uh-huh.
she really has gone through big changes in her own life, so
Mhm.
What would she say? She'd say more about watching out for yourself. And
Mm.
you have to, again, kind of similar with the it doesn't matter if other people agree with you. You have to do what feels right for you. Um, and try
Mm.
and bring along those who you want, but at the same time, don't wait for them.
Mm. Yes. Which
Yeah.
goes right along, because right on the bottom of that card, it says, "A fresh new start or the end of delays, sudden or unexpected progress, a very positive change in your life, travel, or a new vehicle." So I'm hearing
Mm,
like the same thing, just having these new experiences, keep it moving,
yep.
um, doing all those like different things. So, so tell me about your career.
Sure. Yeah. So I am on, we'll call it career number 3.
Mm-hmm.
I started out in hedge fund administration, did that for a couple of years. Really totally for the money. Like thought there was going to be a lot more money in it and realized one that there's not, and two, I didn't really like it. Like it didn't fit with me. Went
Mm-hmm.
back to school. Went to for hospitality, got my MBA, worked with a major hotel brand for about 6 years. And then the pandemic happened, which was a lot of bad obviously came out of that, but a lot of really beautiful things as well. And that was kind of the universe's push of like, all right, girl, you're not happy. So stop. Like you're
Mm.
furloughed, you're probably going to be, laid off. So I entered into coaching. So now I'm a business coach for other women who want to leave the workforce and create something that actually like feels good and makes sense and creates an impact while also making us a ton of money along the way, right? Like we
Yeah.
can be both. We can have the impact and make a ton of money.
Mm-hmm.
And it's amazing and I love it.
Okay. So yeah, so it had came out about community.
Yes.
And then like this woman that's sitting there on the bed, like the whole frustration process of just not really feeling satisfied what I'm hearing from the various, like you said, on the third kind of
Mhm.
career change with that. So with that, how do you, in the midst of when you're frustrated, calm yourself?
My dogs. Honestly, my two biggest ways are be outside. Like I am
Mhm.
people have teased me that I'm a plant, that all I need is sunshine and water and I'm good to go.
Mm.
So as long as I can be outside and in the warmth, let's clarify that in the warmth. And
You don't wanna be, like, somewhere in the snow, but you're in Rhode Island, girl.
I know, and I'm trying to figure out like a warmer climate to be in that also keeps me near the ocean. Um,
Uh-huh.
but yeah, and then just being with my dogs, whether it's I can't say the W word, but as you take them for a stroll,
Yes.
or just like sitting or playing or just they calm me down. I think animals have a really great there's scientific studies, right, that increase our dopamine, our serotonin, all of that. But they also
Mhm.
just remind you to just like chill out and relax and play
Mm.
frisbee or like play, have fun. So those are my two biggest ways, nature and my animals.
Okay. Cool. So, tell me about your, as I'm seeing where it says community, but the people that you serve in your business. Tell me about them. What are they like?
They are badass women who don't
Mm.
quite realize how much power they have. I think that we are constantly learning as a society of how strong women can be, but institutionally
Mhm.
are taught to make ourselves smaller and to not brag or boast or anything. Like don't be prideful. So they tend to be women who are so frustrated and so beaten down that they're like, I know this isn't it. I know this. I know I'm meant to be more than this and meant to be bigger than this.
Mhm.
So we like kind of strip back all the things that hold them down and they step into being like their witchy selves or their powerful goddesses or like whatever they want to be,
Mhm.
unashamed and ready to be like, oh, hey, I'm here now. You can't do anything about it. Let's play.
Yes. Okay. So yeah, it came off with this which is interesting, this motherhood vibe energy that kind of came out. Like being supportive, encouraging them, caring for them in their moments of their frustration in their community. So tell me about how do you do that? How do you encourage them to be
Yeah.
themselves?
I mean, from a business perspective, there's
Mhm.
kind of this three-prong approach, which is the strategy of how to actually do the thing, right? To have
Yeah.
the confidence to do it. There's the mindset and stripping down these old beliefs that we're taught, like we can't say we want to make a lot of money, right? Like it's unfeminine to say that you want to make a shit ton of money.
Mm.
Um, what does that mean? What is the idea of being unworthy? How does I really like to kind of walk through their behaviors and their
Mhm.
belief process. And there are so many subtle ways we don't realize that we're playing small,
Hmm.
like not wanting to go live without a face of makeup. For some women, is a sign of playing small. For some women, it's confidence, right? We all have our own thing.
Right?
But just those subtle little ways that you're like, oh, but I can't, I have to watch my language or da 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 da. Like
Mhm.
I asked you because this is your show and your platform and I want to be
Right.
respectful. But if it was mine, like the F bombs would be dropping, man. Like that's me. That's how I'm authentic. And it's just teaching them how to be okay with that by
Mhm.
working through the blocks, right? Understanding what's going on unconscious, subconsciously, and then having them actually do it. Like we can learn and
Mm.
we can absorb all the content and we can, you know, theorize, but until you actually press live and you show up without that face of makeup, or you show
Mm.
up and your hair's a mess, or you show up and you like don't 100% know what you're going to talk about, but you know that something has to come out. The more you practice it, the more you do the thing, the easier it is to
Yes.
rewrite those stories. And the easier it is to be like, oh, this is kind of fun. All right, I can do this more and more. And you start to embody that new version of yourself, which is
Yes.
honestly just like an old version of yourself that we've piled and piled layers of societal teachings.
Yes. Okay. Yes. Loving that. The actual practical piece of doing that. That's one of the things that like with this show, like I said, having not have most of the guests anyway, having conversations, we haven't had pre-meetings or, what are specifically we're gonna talk about. It's like literally us connecting in this moment, co-creating this space right here, right now. And it's like, I don't know what they were going to talk about or what was going to be said, but it's just whatever needs to flow and be said will be said. So absolutely am loving that. So what's coming back to me is the word money. Because I'm also going back to this initial picture back with your granddad and just the money and how you were saying like in the beginning having that career of thinking money, and then when you were talking about how a lot of time women are often feeling as though like, hey, I want to make a lot of money. So tell me more about this connection with money, your experience with that.
Yeah. So I was raised, my family is firmly working class.
Okay.
Like I don't we weren't middle class, like we were firmly working class growing up. My grandfather was a janitor, he was a steel mill worker,
Hmm.
like really hard physical labor. My grandmother was a welder and then had her own cleaning company where she did the majority of it. And
Hmm.
they always took good care of my sister and I, right? Like we were always taken care of, but there was no extra money for dance lessons or any of the things that like a lot of my friends had.
Right.
Um, so there was always this like the lack, this scarcity of we stopped taking vacations at one point because there was no money for it, right? And it became the new
Hmm.
normal and everything was like we can't change the wallpaper in your bedroom because you've only had it 10 years and that's
Mm.
not enough time to like recoup the investment, right?
Hmm.
So I spent so much of my life thinking that I had to like hoard money, that I had to have money because that made you important. That made you successful if you had a certain level of income coming in.
Mm,
And over the past couple of years, I've done a lot of work around it, which doesn't mean it doesn't come back up, right? There are still days where I'm like, whoo, that was a big investment that I just punked on. That was a lot of money to plunk down there. But
mm,
it's now in this, it's not like a fear that there's not going to be enough to cover the basics, that it's not going to be enough to not go on vacation or do what I want, right? Now it's this, I get to have what I want and I get to be
yes,
provided for. So it's,
yes.
again, still working through some of it, but like it's more of a an abundant, like beautiful respect for what money can help me do, and not
Hmm.
this sense of like, yeah, no, this is what we're doing, and we're eating a lot of meat and a lot of baked potatoes because that's going to stretch the money farther.
It's interesting because what came out was this thing with the card that talks about the trigger statement is what will they think,
Mm.
and then the true statement is I navigate through life with ease. And so many
Oh.
times what we're connected with, right? That root chakra, the fundamentals, root food, and all those different things. And so it's saying here, now you must claim your energetic independence. Cut the cords to lower vibrations. It's time to ascend. And that's one of those things is that, yeah, we have that whole history of how we were raised and how we were, grown up that, brings our experiences like, yeah, they're good, but they also cast some low vibe things that makes us like, um, kind of just can get caught up with that. So I love that you are, sounds like, doing those things that, yeah, they come up. However, I'm still going to enjoy life. I'm still going to, maybe buy these pair of shoes. Oh my gosh, did I just drop this amount of money?
Yes.
But I'm like, I like the way that I feel. And then when I go out, so, it'd be different. I was buying like 5,000 pairs every other day. I get that. But like you said, if there's something that you really want to having that energetic feeling connection with that, enjoying that and having life. So as you thinking about your future and the business and the things that you want to do, tell me, how do you see yourself in like a year from now?
So I recently had a past life regression that took me back to like the 60s, 70s.
Mm-hmm.
And I was on a stage and I was speaking and I had a megaphone and I was breaking down the bullshit that is society.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and that's where I'm going is I do a lot of one-on-one stuff now. I love my clients. I love what I do,
Mm-hmm.
but there's a lot more public speaking. There's a lot more community focus, not necessarily as much on the one-on-one, but more on like, yes, more on the
Mm-hmm.
we're doing this. We're not doing this small scale. We're not doing this one-on-one or a couple at a time. Like we're doing this.
Mm-hmm.
So just a lot more being visible, a lot more getting out in front of people and helping more people and just having a bigger impact.
Well, like I said, the community came out from you from before, so I guess that's kind of what resonated with you
Yeah.
a little bit earlier. So, um, hmm. So I was asking who would be able to come alongside you and support you as you are connecting and doing that. And remember we used the word earlier, ancestor.
Yes.
So White Eagle came out, which is an ancestor spirit. It says connect to your lineage, right? A family wound or pattern can be healed now. So being led to read this to you to see
Okay.
what resonates the message for you. So, which is interesting that it is the very last one in this deck. It says White Eagle is a Native American shaman who is dedicated to honoring our spiritual heritage. He is a world renowned spiritual guide who has been particularly cherished by mediums hmm,
Hmm.
all over the world. He first spoke through a medium called Grace Cook and in the early 20th century. He is the guy who helps create clear channels in our bloodline. Hmm. And our spiritual lineage so we can access the heart of the Creator. He also helps us move into sacred symmetry, where we can hold sacred space to honor a change, transition, celebration, or anything else that deserves time. He is wonderful for clearing space, and we can call on him for help for forging spiritual connections. The extended message. Take some time to honor just how far you have come, like all the things that you have done through your life and experiencing the working class, would you like take the time to honor that? Recognizing through ceremony and ritual the shifts of your awareness, healing, and journey really allows you to move into a state of grace and gratitude. You have or have recently had an opportunity to heal an old family wound or pattern. It's important to connect with your family in spirit so that you can set a new energy of love in place. White Eagle is bringing your ancestors through to you and allowing you to know that they are happy and well. He is sounding his sacred drums to clear your spirit. And I just want you to know that, wow, because I got my own chill, is that today, like I do different things to set up a space. And today, I'm coming off camera for a second because I want you to really see that when I cleared the space, I actually used a drum today for the very first time. So I had never done that before. Usually, I just kind of do my incense in the oils, but today I was led to do a vibration clearing with a drum. So
Oh, I love that.
connecting with your people. So I want you to, I hope you're feeling encouraged that
Yes.
you know you're having your connecting, and you continue to connect with your family as you think about what it is that you're going to be going to that next level with your community, and that I just wish you well as you continue to say live smart. And what that means for me is see yourself and awaken, master your emotions, ask, believe, and receive, relax, relate, release, and talk wisely and ascend. And that way you can ascend in your work life and your work life, your career, and your personal life. So it has been a pleasure connecting with you, Chrissy, and learning more about you and your family and what it is that you do. Thank you for those that have joined us. If you're interested in being a guest on All Intuitive Conversation, visit sevenfoldcoaching.com. And until we meet again next week, this has been an All Intuitive Conversation.